After years of living in the suburbs, we are finally moving to start our homestead. But instead of selling our house, we're renting it. So here's what we're doing. When my husband and I initially purchased this home, it was with the intention for this home to become a rental property. And this was our way of actually getting into the door. But after transitioning into the door and actually living in the home, we entertained the idea of potentially selling the home versus renting the home. My husband and I decided that we were in fact just going to rent out the house. One of the main defining factors for that was because we are upside down on our mortgage, meaning that our home is currently valued less than what we actually purchased it for. So that means we would end up having to come out of pocket potentially $20,000 to $30,000 when we can just sit on our initial investment. Disclaimer for anybody who is not familiar with economics in the United States: stocks every day, every month, and every year rise and fall. The same thing happens with the value of any asset, including real estate. My husband and I do in fact know that this home will eventually be worth a lot more in the next 5 to 10 years compared to its current market value. So during this video, I'm going to share with you some step-by-step actions that we are currently taking to get our home rental ready. One of the biggest factors for choosing to rent a house kind of varies from person to person. Outside of being upside down on our mortgage, my husband and I actually wanted to be real estate investors, which was one of our commonalities. So this home is exactly that, our very first piece of real estate added to our portfolio. Long term, we plan on waiting for this home's value to return to where it was when we initially purchased it or surpassing it. Once that happens, we plan on taking out what's called a home equity line of credit. So essentially it is a lien against your home, but it gives you upfront capital that you could potentially get from selling your home, but you can get it without selling your home. Disclaimer, you do have to pay that back, but if you put that into a vehicle that can make you more money, then paying it back isn't that big of a deal. It actually opens opportunities for you to get to where you want to a lot faster. Our home was originally valued at over $400,000, but when my husband and I purchased this asset, we got it for about $350,000. So we were fully aware that there was a lot of growth and wiggle room, but we didn't know exactly how much. Since we have been living here for the past 2 going on 3 years, we have noticed that there are a lot of real estate developments going on, not only just residential as far as apartments and homes, but also commercial. They're putting storefronts, restaurants, and everything on every corner. And the ones that haven't started being developed currently are undergoing. There are signs pending showing that there will soon be shopping centers in walking distance from our current home. So instead of selling it and taking the loss and paying the $20,000 to $30,000 out of pocket that we are in the negative currently, we are deciding to hold on to the home because we know that in the next 5 to 10 years, this home will be worth well over $400,000. If we're lucky, potentially even $500,000. Now let's jump into what is required for you to get your home ready for tenants. One of the obvious ones is painting. We have 2 children, so our walls got destroyed. Whether it was fingerprints, dirty hands, food, and mystery messes, my husband and I have committed to essentially repainting our entire house, which can be expensive and a little bit scary, but it is a part of our investment strategy, so that's just what comes with renting out your home. We have also had to assess minor repairs that need to be done to our home, whether that be chipped paint from the kids or small holes or even scuffed up baseboards. We are currently not making any upgrades to our home because when we initially purchased this home, it was in fact a new build.
Meaning that everything was already brand new and fairly modern.
Meaning that we started from a fairly clean and easy slate. For anyone who is considering renting out your home, the most important thing to consider is what are homes currently going on market value for right now in your area. So for us, our average was about $3,000 per se. So we decided to set our monthly rent price slightly lower to make our home a little bit more competitive to people who are interested and looking for an affordable option for a rental home. Because we purchased this home with the intention of it becoming a rental property, I made my realtors aware from day one that the home that we would be purchasing would be becoming a rental property. So since we had that initial understanding with our realtors, they were very hands-on from the beginning, which I am so grateful for. They made it their primary duty to ensure that we were 100% comfortable, not only in our home, but also in our neighborhood. And they facilitated that by ensuring that they kept in contact with us throughout the years of us living here. Once my husband and I officially curated a move-out date, I went on ahead and contacted the realtors on both of our behalf. I spoke to them and explained to them our exact situation, how we were currently upside down on our mortgage, and what exactly we wanted to do moving forward when it comes to renting. During our time of living in this home, my husband and I also got solar panels, not just for the renewable energy, which is also important, but also for the tax incentives. So it was important to us that not only was our mortgage going to be covered, but also the cost of the solar panels, because in the event that we did decide to sell this home, the solar panels would in fact be included. I would suggest, if you do want to sell your home, to work with a realtor, because they simplified this process for us hands down. So what our realtor was able to provide for us was they took photos of our property and uploaded them to the MLS as well as Zillow, and contacted other realtors in the area to list our home and work with showings as well on their behalf if they were unable to do a showing. They also included doing virtual showings and in-person showings of our home. They also walked me through the criteria necessary for us to see if we were in fact getting a suitable tenant. So some big things that they harped on was looking at credit history from the renters, if they were making any on-time payments, if they were ever late,
and if there were any evictions.
So finding tenants was actually pretty easy, considering the fact that our realtors were doing a lot of the legwork for us. But one of the biggest problems that we were having with getting a tenant in the home
was that the home, it's not ready yet. Not only are we painting, making any minor repairs,
and moving out our stuff, that is a whole process within itself. So far, on 3 separate occasions, we have had potential tenants reaching out wanting to move into our property, but unfortunately our home has not been ready. Our realtor is also someone that is good to work with because they can help you create a lease. So in our situation, our realtor actually drafted up a lease that they currently use for themselves and for other clients. So we in fact did not have to curate any of that. All we had to do was review it once signing the initial contract of working with our realtor. The few things that were left out of the contract were who was going to be taking care of lawn maintenance, the HVAC filters being replaced, and also the payment arrangement. So that's something that my husband and I plan on talking with the potential tenant about once they move in. Now let's talk a little bit about property management. Luckily for me, my husband is not only a mechanic, but he also has been a handyman in previous rental properties. So he is aware of some of the things that will need to be done to our home in the future because we will be having a potential tenant. And because he has this experience, that means that we can save money up front by him doing it instead of us paying for someone to do it. We can also ensure that the quality that the work is done is superb because we are doing it ourselves, and this is in fact our rental property. When it comes to communicating with our tenant about potential maintenance requests or payment issues, we plan on communicating directly through a portal. Here are some examples of the portals that we have currently looked into, and they are in fact free. I will also put them down below in the description if you are interested in looking into these anymore for your own personal use. In order to ensure that our rental property is being properly taken care of, we will be doing quarterly walkthroughs as well as quarterly HVAC system filter replacements to ensure that everything is working properly, to see if there are any damages and what the overall quality of our home is looking like. The hardest part of transitioning from a homeowner to a landlord has solely been educating ourselves and ensuring that we know exactly what we are getting into. We are currently living in the state of Texas, so it is very important that we both review Texas state laws to make sure we are in compliance with them in the event that we have to take any of our potential clients to court, which I hope that never happens, right? Doesn't everybody? Because we currently have no hands-on experience with being landlords, the best advice I can give you is just make sure that you're doing enough research to ensure that you are confident in your decisions moving forward throughout this process. So that means learning the local laws, as well as making sure that your home is safe, especially if your home is not a new build like ours. There are certain things legally that your home needs to be in compliant with to make sure that it is actually habitable for other people. I hope that this was helpful for anyone who is considering putting their house up currently for rent. This is something that my husband and I have been anticipating for many years now, and it has taken a lot of research, discipline, and consistency to get us exactly where we want to be. Comment down below if you are thinking about renting out your home, if you are thinking about potentially starting your own rental portfolio, or anything real estate that you want to share. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like it, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to follow us along our journey to creating our dream homestead as first-time homesteaders. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.